Hitting it until it. Oh, we are live. Look at that. All right, awesome, awesome. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are watching this, whatever time you're watching this. Welcome to episode 10 of the Legacy Lounge. X marks the spot. That X stands for 10 because this is the 10th episode. Not a lot of people make it to 10, so we are truly blessed and grateful and thankful for everybody who has shown their support to keep this going. Today, we have myself, the Legacy Commissioner, Fancy Daly, and Ms. Beneath Ewing, and we are all three of us are licensed professionals when it comes to finances, and we are just going to give you the roadmap so you can get your financial treasure and avoid financial disaster. That's why we said X marks the spot, so you know exactly what to do, exactly where to go, and to hit that goal that you have. All right, so we're going to kick this off. I'm just going to kick it off to you, Venice. Like, what is something that you want to share with people, especially about finances? I know you got a lot of stories, a ton of knowledge. What do you want to give the people today?
So I want everyone to know that money is necessary, it is essential, but more importantly, the concepts of money. I love teaching children as young as 5 or 6 because that's the age where everything sticks and they have so many questions. But I can go all the way to the 90 and 100-year-olds that want to do more things like estate planning and want to do some things with retirement, creating generational wealth. And when it comes to money, it's a huge arena, but it's fun for me because I didn't grow up with money. My family didn't talk about money at the kitchen table fancy. I wasn't taught to read the bills, learn how to write a check. All of that came by experience once I became an adult. And as I was telling Tino the weekend, we had a great event together. It's hard to break the mindset once you become a certain age. We need to reach back and start teaching the kids what we missed. I've always told people only if my grandparents and my parents would have told me this when I was 15, I wouldn't have been learning it at 30 and making mistakes and bumping my head. I thought I was a very smart young child. So you never know how much they can actually capture and retain. So why wait until we have to cross the bridge to know the bridge is there? That's kind of like my lingo. And where I'm passionate at now is like the 30 and under. Because I'm like, everything I know, I'm pouring into. I'm not allowed to first get the house to understand how mortgages work. I don't want them to start getting the 401ks and the profit sharing before they understand what it is. So why do we have to wait until experience to learn? Can we just know and have it in our toolkit? And just have it in case it comes. Like, I remember that. Let me go back to my notes. So that's my motto going forward. I don't want to wait until I'm wealthy. I don't want to wait until I get there. I want to be in the cab bucket, coming out of the bucket with my clients, with my neighbors, with my community. Let's do it together. I just know a little bit more to kind of like lead the pack. So it's always the leader is always the one that knows a little bit more. Like, what should we do now? What's next? Have you ever heard of this? Like, there's always someone who's going to be front. But just because you're in front doesn't mean that you have to be the only one, you know?
Absolutely, sis. You're the type of person we need in front. A person who has a compassion for their community, for other people, to readily identify that, hey, you don't have to fail your way to success. I can be your cheat sheet. I'm going to reach back and give you what wasn't given to me, what's not given in the school, what wasn't provided around the kitchen table, but what I'm faced with every day. Y'all said I was going to have to deal with parallelograms. I'm not dealing with them. I'm trying to figure out how to write a check and a money order and how a mortgage works and P&I and life insurance. You know what I mean? So I think that is so you are the type that we need at the forefront. Like I made a point recently, just like if you're in the medical situation, you want the nurse that has a compassion for doing what she's doing, not just because she's, compensated accordingly. So I salute you for that, and just having that spirit and essence about you to want to reach back to empower our youth, right? And other communities, this information is readily available. Their parents and their grandparents passed that down to them, right? So even if they learned about it because they were in possession of it, right? We learned about it, unfortunately, on the other end, trying to figure out how to get in possession of it. So that is, I salute you. I love that. And it aligns with our overall goal and what we're doing here.
So you're saying that we shouldn't be learning about parallelograms and laterals
and square roots and all of that? What is that doing with us when we're 30? You know, what am I going to do in the world when I'm working and trying to figure out some things?
That part.
I haven't seen that since 11th grade. It's funny you said that, Fancy.
I'm just being sincere about it. And these are the things, you know, home economics taught me how to wash dishes and what to put in first, but home economics should have taught to gross versus net. That's the real home economics that we want to right know about and embark upon.
Yeah, they say it's called gross because it's disgusting what you get when they take that money out.
Hey, I never heard it that way, Tino, but I'm going to have to use that in my high
Yeah, man, that gross gets you excited, and then when you see that net, you're just like, wait, what?
One in the middle, right? Rest of it.
Yo, so that brings me to a conversation that we were having before, speaking about like what you actually end up with, what actually goes net to your pocket. I know, Venice, when we were talking about retirement and you were sharing a story about like, oh, this is what I thought I was getting and this is what I actually got. And then they even took more away from me. I was like, yo, people definitely need to know about. I'm just gonna let you. I'm not even gonna take your thunder. You share that story.
I was talking about my father. When I meet people, Fancy, I start off by just letting them know I haven't always been here. I'm not where I dreamed to be. I'm in the trenches. While we're here together, let me share some things on why I'm so passionate. Because people like Tino, they always say, I almost can choke up, Fancy, every time I'm publicly speaking because the stories are real, girl. Like when I'm telling the stories, Tino, and I'm looking at my dad, I always feel that my old man was left behind. You know, he was almost like one of the smartest around us. He had friends of all ethnicities, so he knew a lot about money and how things work. But when I became a part of the financial world, this thing was new to my father. And it was almost kind of scary to see him comfortable because he wasn't educated. He did have a little money and some nest eggs that he unfortunately did the wrong thing with them. And so Tino heard me tell the story of my dad being introduced to some products and vehicles that's coming to me now. But he was like, hey, I'm 65. This is the first time I've heard of this.
Foreign to him. Yeah.
And Fancy, when he said this, it stabbed me in the heart. He says, man, had you known, if I known this, man, baby girl, you probably will be wealthy. You probably would have had 6 figures saved. You probably would have had things that you could have been grabbing right now to do more things with, like start your business. And he said it wholeheartedly, you know, like only if we had have known. And I'm just like, wow. And this comes from the chief of the house, who we knew it all. My dad retired at 51. We bragged about that because he's always been a great granddad. He's available to all of our grandkids. He may not know them all by name, but he knows them that they are number 12 and 13.
Right.
He's picking everybody up. He goes on trips. He's so super supportive.
Wow.
But what if he could have did all of that and made more better money choices?
Yeah.
What if he was able to help all of us get ahead? I have a little brother who's a graphic designer. He works for some of the biggest newspapers in the world. And it's like, what if he had his own company? What if we had the nest egg to grab it, not have to worry about taxes, and start another family business? And so when I speak about retirement, Tino, it's true to my heart because I don't work for a company that's going to put me up and match me. everything I'm doing now fancy. I have to learn how to save.
That's right.
I have to learn about taxes. I have to learn about what's necessary. I have to understand the fact of what they call delayed gratification. Just can't buy it because you can afford it.
Are you sure?
And so, girl, it's rough. I have 3 daughters. Girls are expensive.
Yes.
I'm learning how to say no because it's not going to benefit us in the future. And so I was telling about another story of some school teachers. I'm huge with educators. I feel like people like them and police officers and firemen, those people that are always helping and their job is designed for them to help everybody else, we're going to help them live comfortably in their time being behind the desk.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they get hit sometimes the hardest with all that they give and do?
They do.
And so when I started learning about retirement plans with the education system, we are still at this battle that we can't believe that some things are true. And I've had a lot of teachers call only so we can hear the same answer. And I shared a story with Tino that I had an educator who was retiring after 30 years of service. And she just wanted to know her options. And so the first time I always tell them, let's call the retirement board together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be your help. So they ask something you don't know. You got to give me the right to be able to speak on your behalf, to do this as a tag team. I could drop the phone when they told my client that if something was to happen to her after receiving her pension monthly, what if she got a few checks fancy and Lord behold got hit by a drunk driver? What if she didn't come home that night? They told her that now the Illinois school system will retrieve all of the rest of her monies. It goes back to the pension board. And we both, Tino, it was like dead silence because I was at that point like her daughter, like, wait a minute, my mom has worked and has created 300, 400, 500,000 in savings. And we receive nearly a few thousand a couple of times. Something happens to her and we lose all of my mom's savings because this is the way the plan is designed. Well, she wasn't at the table to talk about the designing of her plan, but she definitely participated and contributed all those years,
right,
without anyone saying, well, excuse me, things have changed. Do you still want to do this? Do you still want to be a part of it the same way you've been doing it for 20 years? Because now we've made some changes. Let's come by the lawmakers. And it was devastating. And so immediately she started being a crusader. Like, I got to tell all the teachers, all these young teachers, maybe they don't want to do that.
Absolutely.
So life for me is all about knowing the options.
Yeah.
You got to know before you need it. You need to know ahead of time. And so that was one story besides my father's. I'm just like, I want to be the retirement girl. I want to learn these plans. I want to be the one that like, let's look at line 9.
Yep.
This is going to be different. Like, open up your book. Let me help you.
Yeah.
You get your statement. Let's read it together. Let me tell you the ugly truth now. So when you're ready to separate, you don't have to stay 4 or 5 more years because you just got smacked with something that was devastating. You guys ever met a client like, when are you walking away? 2 more years, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And then you see them and you sit down with them and they're like, I got to do 7 more years because this ain't what I was expecting.
That's right.
To me, that is the worst.
It is. I share your sentiment with the service providers, with anybody in nonprofit, preacher, teacher, police, fire. It's the same situation. Here in Michigan, they retire on about 55% less than their working income. Meanwhile, groceries, gas, taxes, everything is going up. It's going up. And people, these educators, especially because I worked in that sector as well, they have a false sense of security, right? Like you said, no longer are the days where, you dedicate your viable years to them and then they take care of you when you're no longer able to do that. That's no longer the case. That is a grave disappointment to learn that I'm paying into something. And if I have a snafu, my kids don't get to benefit from it. Y'all gonna do what with my money? that I paid into, and no one, right, made me aware. There was no seminar, information packet, or anything to make people aware that this is how this program that you're paying into works. And so, the fact that you took the time out with her, you guys could readily identify and discover that on a call directly from the retirement department. Now she has joined you in the mission and say, we got to let these other people know. We have to make them aware.
If we don't, it's like I am my brothers and sisters keeper. Like
That's
if
it.
I can eat lunch with you and we can go to baby showers and birthday parties and you know my kids, I know your kids.
All the more so, I can give you this
Yeah.
information. We can talk about this and plan accordingly.
My question is, what do we do? Because you mentioned, Fancy, that false sense of security that people have. So what is it that we can do to kind of, we don't really want to pop people's bubble, but really just bring them down to reality? Because I know a lot of people would think, oh, my plan is good. You ask them about their financial map and everything is like, oh, I'm solid until we get into that situation.
I'm bubble popping. I'm popping it. You said we don't want to pop their bubble, but I mean, either people prefer the ugly truth or the beautiful lie. And when we're talking about dollars and cents, I think you'd readily have that information sooner rather than later. So it's like your plan is not viable. I'm not the bad guy. And I like the approach that Venice takes. You call them, right? And let them deliver the information for them to know. This is something. Time is the largest component with reference to things like this. Her father said, had I known, baby girl, things would look so different for you and all. Number 12, number 13 of my grandbabies, number 14, things would have been different. And this was a man who clearly, right, was an intellect. He retired early. He was just without the information. And so that's why it's so imperative for us to get in front of people sooner rather than later, have these conversations within our community, right? All too many times, as I always say, people they're doing the right thing, but their money is going to the wrong place. It makes a difference where you're positioning that money. If you're not saving it in a place that is readily accessible to you, that's going to allow your money to benefit from compound uninterrupted interest and things like that, you're doing yourself a great disservice. But if you don't know, you just don't know.
People work hard for their money, but their money's not working hard for them. They're paying everything else except themselves. I always tell people, you got to pay yourself first, because at the end of the day, you know that you're going to be all you got. The electric bill, the light bill, all of those bills, they're not going to cut you off immediately. Pay yourself first. You buy yourself some time, because you don't want to be sitting there when you can't work and have no money.
Absolutely.
Yes. I always use analogy. I'm always very open with clients, make it make sense, right, fans? I always tell them, let's check the holes in your boat.
Plug them up. It's time.
When you hear holes in the boat, first thing you think, like, if we don't plug them up, come on, family, we go sink, we go drown.
Yeah.
And so I come from a world of camping, and my dad is a fisherman. I use things so people can hear it. Like what you say, girl, plug it. If we don't hurry up and plug,
that's it.
Somebody's sinking.
That's it.
Not only that, but you got somebody on the back end drilling another hole in your boat because they changed you over here trying to plug this hole. That hole you got a new hole coming. Man.
And I tell my clients when they say financial map, Tino, I love to tell them the blueprint.
Yeah.
Like everything I do is going to be custom to you, Ms. Daly. It's all about you and your house.
That's it.
No one else is going to need what we do for you. No one else is going to have the same numbers as you.
That's right.
I want to customize your future with you. I'm talking about the numbers. You know how you build a house? Mm-hmm. You ideally have what room is going to be next to what color, what floor, what tile. You already are thinking that. What retirement? What do you do?
Absolutely.
How do you want that to look? How much money do you want to save?
Yeah.
Where's the kids going to school? Like Fancy, I'm a real petty girl. I'm like, Google the school. How much does it cost?
That's right.
Just say your baby is in there. We got to put the numbers to it.
That's
because
correct.
When you put the numbers to it, it lets you know how far-fetched you are. It sounds good to do it, but do you really know what it costs?
That's right.
We're not going to get scared of the number. We're going to attack that thing that way.
That's
There's
correct.
things we need to do to plug up the boat, to make it a reality, because hey, it all starts with you.
Mhm.
Another big thing that I'm advocate for now. I didn't have my health credentials.
Mhm.
I'm so an advocate for one side of the game because I learned so much. I went really fast. I got licensed in 72 hours, and I'm just like hitting the ground running.
Right?
Now I'm finding out what portability means.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me that my great aunt, who's been working at this job all these years, won't have insurance
Come on.
when she leaves? Like, wait a minute.
When she needs it the most, can we say that?
She got a few things that God has blessed her to be unblessed with, a few ailments now. The knees don't work the same.
Mine
Uncle
needs
Walter has snuck in. She's on a few medicines,
right.
kind of like common that everybody has, high blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But that medicine being on her is an issue.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it the life insurance? She can't take a little bit of it.
That's right.
Why does she have to start over? So now I'm speaking to people now. I know you're going to be there for years, but you might need to be outside of that job now while you're healthy and young
To lock in, to
to
solidify
lock in.
that you own.
And maybe pay it up fancy while you're working.
That
So when you're done working,
yeah,
the deal is done too.
Yeah.
But I'm so teaching people, make it make sense while you're working. Put the money to work while you're working. And on the opposite side, put a little bit more. Put a few coins together, make it work too.
Mm-hmm.
What if you have 2 or 3 things working while you're working?
That's right.
At some point, let's draw the line. What is the cutoff age? I always say, Tino, retirement, you guys, is not an age. Retirement is a number.
Mm.
And when you get to that number, you can fire your boss. You can sit back. I also teach CEOs. Don't be special. Don't be selfish with your gift.
Mm-hmm.
Teach someone else how you open this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Teach another young person how to not only do the same thing that you have succeeded in, but share the wisdom so they can be the next. Teach how to open up the next home care agency,
Right.
the next insurance company,
Right.
the next restaurant. You ain't got to give them your recipe, but give the recipe of how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Share it.
Mm-hmm.
I always teach my beauticians. My sister is a stylist. Teach them, educate, delegate. When you're tired of using the hands to do the hairstyle, speak the knowledge to show the others. Become educated. It's money in that. Well, who's going to teach them the right way?
And it empowers people, right? It's a win-win. It's across the board. It's a win-win. You're empowering them. You're educating, and this is something that goes twofold. And I like what you said about the household, because when people, right, parents are the cheat sheet. The only thing we try to do for the most part is give our children everything that we got late, make sure they get it early, and help them avoid certain pitfalls. At the crux of that is financial, right? Because that's the main thing that we want to impart upon them outside of the regular things, but the part that, some people are just not equipped to pass on to their children. Yes. So when we have a client and we're able to do that and we're giving them a blueprint, we're inculcating the children, we're letting them know about, okay, you want them to go to this school, let's count the cost for that, right? Now, it causes the lens to shift to say, and show them how they can get started on the child's future right now, and the greatest benefit it'll be, because time is on their side with the children.
Yes.
So, one of the things I always say, and I'm always talking about legacy, I always say the 3 F's to a legacy. There's 3 parts to a legacy. There's your foundation, there's your finances, and there's your future. And all 3 of those things are connected. And then going back to your money tree, you have to water your money tree. It blows my mind how people are so reliant on their job to do this for them. And it's like, that's not your job's responsibility. No. And it's crazy to think about it, where it's like, oh, I'll show up late for work. They don't need me. They'll be all right. But then that same attitude is going to flip on you later in your years. where it's like the job's going to be like, we don't need you. We'll be all right. And your retirement is going to be jacked up.
Yes, totally. And something else speaking of retirement and speaking of our communities, there's not enough education about retirement. People don't even understand what plans they have.
Mm-hmm.
They can't even begin to tell you the company they're paying into.
So true.
Let alone fancy, they don't even know how much they're paying because it comes out of the check, and so much comes out of the check. It's just like the norm around here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for so long, I used to say, what is FICA? What is the FICA? You know, the government puts everything in codes, everything in abbreviations, acronyms, and you're like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
They give you a check stub, but no vocabulary cheat sheet on the back to
That part, yeah.
It's like, whose job is it to teach me? I always teach my clients. They ask me, I say, you have an HR director. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, what's her name? Such and such. Go after. That's what I'm there for.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to give it all. I educate them on the path. Go use the resources that are in place. Ask them those questions. But you know the scariest thing? Most of them can't answer.
Yeah.
And then the client comes back even madder. Like, they don't tell me who you're working for.
Mm-hmm.
You're just the number. They just have a title, but they're not resourceful.
Yeah. A lot of the HR people that I've seen, a lot of them are specializing in like conflict resolution and conflict management. I'm like, we're gonna have a conflict if we don't get my money straight. That's a big conflict.
How many companies do I pay into, and what's the percentage? What's the number to the company? They're like, come back tomorrow, I got to do the research. Like, wait a minute. But when I do that with my clients, I try to educate them and teach them that if you don't control your own, I don't care who you are. Your name is just on the roster.
That's it.
Don't care about what you're going to have 20 years from now. If you care enough, Mr. and Mrs. Client, let me hold you by the hand. Let's do our research and our homework. Let's make some calls together. By the time they get done, Fancy, them clients be upset, girl.
They do.
And then I try to flip it and say, well, since your HR person didn't know much, can we come in and do a lunch and learn? We're going to teach them.
That's big.
Or let's come in and do a coffee and conversation.
Yeah.
My first thing is, I'm not trying to take what you have. But you nor my client or no other employees in here know what's going on. When you let the HR director know that I'm just trying to help because you are the help, but you can't help. Lack of education around here. Can I come in and show you what they need to know about this stuff without stepping on anybody's toe?
Right.
So you got to be nice about it, but you got to first put some people in the fight. So they understand that they need us.
Yeah.
Whether you want it or not, you be the gatekeeper. Get me in here. Most HR people, they have people in their businesses and their companies that they love. So if you really like such and such, you really like these people, let me come in and help for free because it's complimentary, Fancy. I'm coming in for free. Bring some food for free. But the conversation needs to be had.
Absolutely. And it empowers the HR person because now it allows them to get that information that they weren't aware of, that they hadn't taken the time to see. A lot of the times the retirement plan is bought out or passed from this company to this company. Nobody's reading the terms and conditions on the inside to say the management fee went up. You know, you don't have control here. You know, there's just not enough exposure. And unfortunately enough, I think we've been groomed from a very young age, Head Start, preschool, elementary, to just go along, right? People are apprehensive about asking questions, about uncovering and piercing the veil to really understand. So when you have a person with a passion like you, who takes people by the hand, who's not, you know, derogatory or egregious with doing so, but saying, hey, let's sit down and look at this. That's our goal. People run from us, but truly that's just our goal, to inform them and equip them with the information so that they can make informed decisions. That way they don't have the regret later. So
one of the things that it just made me think of is the overall financial blueprint, financial map for most people is go to school, go to college, get a good job. And that's it. So they don't teach you like what to actually do with the money. It's like, okay, get a job so you can make money, so you can earn money, but what's the plan? What's the blueprint for the money?
Right.
And from this conversation, it seems like everybody else, whether it's the job, whether it's the corporation, whether it's the people who create these plans, they all have a plan, a vision, and a goal for your money, but you don't know.
That
You
part.
don't have a goal, a vision, and a plan for your money. It's like, what are they doing with my money? I don't know. Hey, HR person, what's happening with my money? Oh, we got to do the research.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like how we were saying, like the pension fund is going to take back the money. They got a plan for it. Is their plan matching up with your plan?
Yes.
We on the same page here.
Mm-hmm. And you know, when I speak about the youth, a lot of them see they don't want to work.
Nope.
I get a lot of clients who have younger children. They're like, Miss Ewing, she's so lazy. She just want to do her own thing. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's how all the businesses started. That's how corporations started. The CEO wanted to do their own thing. I have to reroute the parent way of thinking. Like, what do you mean her own thing? What is it? She's all into this arts and designs. She wants to make clothes. She wants to do wigs. Sounds like we got a Dudley in the house.
That's right. They don't know about Dudley. They don't know about Dudley.
It sounds like we have us a Sally Hansen around here that wants to do nails.
Right.
It all started with wanting to create something. All CEOs had a vision. Only they had the eyes to see it.
That's right.
Well, look at the companies now. A lot of people work for those companies. So don't knock your baby girl that she don't want to work the 40-40-40 plan, as we call it. You work 40 years, you give up 40%.
It doesn't add up.
And then they're like, well, you have to live off the 40.
How can
you give them a little bit more and say at 50, by the time inflation goes up again, you might as well take a little bit more off.
Absolutely.
So I'm not mad at the youth. I love the millennials. They are different, but they have big visions. When I sit with a room of them, I am drawn out by the conversations of what they want to do, how big, how much money. They want these lavish cars and houses. It's okay to dream, because how are you going to get there?
You know, I appreciate that as well. If you don't change with the times, you'll soon be left behind. And a lot of people's relationship and ideology with money, unless it's a person like yourself who's able to bring to the forefront, hey, this is how things are done. This is how it needs to be done. These are the options that we have. The parents are kind of stuck in that 40-40-40 mindset, but we're seeing that's being vanished. That's washed away. I don't believe that you need to have a job. I believe you need to have income, right? Because there's people who are very vindictive because they were sold a dream and they bought it, of going to school and getting a great education and all of these things. And then when you line them up with the TikTokers and the Instagrammers and the influencers, right? People are upset. So it's like, no longer do we have to go in that direction. And so I agree with you, the millennials. And if we can empower the parents to maybe have the propensity to aid and abet and helping their entrepreneur, right? Giving them the seed money. In other cultures, Tino and I was talking about, they do all of these, required studies, and then they take off and they travel the world for 2 years to find or discover themselves.
Right.
Because their parents are in a position to allow for their children to do that.
One of the things you said, Fancy, that I'll never forget, you was like, the job isn't the goal. The outcome is income.
That's it. That's all.
Come on,
as long as your outcome is income, that's it. On the legal side of things, of course, but by any means, get a bag, bust a check. Like, this is what they understand and they can identify with, right?
Yes.
Not just punching somebody else's clock and having to eat in 30 minutes and not having a certain quality of life and waiting by and by to be sold your pie in the sky. You got to wait to live a good life. So when we can show people the reason why other people are able to do this quicker, sooner, earlier, and better is because they understand the tools that are out there that we haven't been exposed to. That's the only difference.
And they're open to, Fancy. They're open to learning it. You know, it's a new day now. People are,
Yes.
especially in our communities, we've lost so much.
Yes.
The world, 2001, I was in mortgages.
Mhm.
That was a devastating time.
Mhm.
2011 was another hit.
Mhm.
It's like when you're taking so many hits,
Yeah.
and the government has failed us so many times.
Mhm.
It's like you have one eye open now, like your grandma. Like, I'm hearing you, but I know what happened last time. So now I have one eye open. I'm still trying to waver boat, but
Mhm. Mhm.
COVID came.
Right.
And baby, that shut the world down.
Yeah.
More people was not only open to proper protection, but a lot of death came to open their minds for it.
Yes.
A lot of jobs were lost. So that people one income fancy wasn't enough. I should have hustled on
Mhm.
top of the job.
Mhm.
Because now the job is closed, but I had a girlfriend who's a dietitian.
Mhm.
You know, she started doing her little own cooking food and having Sunday dinners for $12 a plate. Well, when the school closed and she couldn't get her income to being a dietitian, baby girl was able to open up that basement for 4 days. So the outcome was income for her, fancy.
That's right.
She took that money to help her get some stuff going
That's
so
right.
that she can do a little cooking, Tino, in the basement. But that basement income weathered the storm for her for 16 months.
Mm.
What if she hadn't have did that? Implement the new plan.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to teach my clients, you need to do something. You work. If you don't want to have something, the husband. Where's the child that wants something?
Mm.
Somebody in this family needs business.
That's right. That's right.
Think about it. Something simple, but there's something for everybody. You know, I have a neighbor. I love dogs. She's a doggy daycare.
Mm.
So, you know, this thing is like a kid daycare.
Mhm.
It's revolving door. But when I saw her rates online, I'm adding up her check. Like I see about $12 a day.
Pocket watching over there and say, wait a minute, am I in the right industry here?
And you're talking about good dogs, spoiled dogs, that all they
Mhm.
do is probably sit around and cry till they leave.
That's cute.
She's walking them, feeding them, and
Yeah.
getting paid well.
Yeah. No stress, low overhead, you know,
Yeah,
no
look,
corporate rat
people,
race.
people will spend money on their pets now. People
Yeah.
will
Don't tell
spend
me it's
money.
not no money to be made out here. This lady just put a whole back porch.
Addition, right.
You hear me?
Yeah. Yep.
And here we trying to figure out how to go pull from here and pull from there to put
Yep.
it together.
Yeah.
She
Or
got
get
a nest egg.
permission. Get permission to get access to the money that you're contributing for later, right? To have a catastrophic or qualifying event to get access to your money that's not liquid that you're putting away, only to wait till when it's accessible to you for somebody else to come get a larger chunk of it.
Yes.
Yeah, not even that. It's also like, first of all, you got to ask permission to get your money.
First.
And then second of all, if you're just like, nah, I'm just going to let it grow, they're going to wait till a certain time and be like, hey, bro, you need to collect on this now so I can get a piece of it.
That's right. Or we're going to take more. Or
ask permission and then get a limit. You can't get that much.
Oh. Or what you consider to be catastrophic, we don't. So we're going to deny.
Right, because certain departments say it's for funeral costs, your home, educational expenses, or marriage.
That's it.
Well, it's math. Some of it, you matched it, but you ain't give it all.
No.
So if I don't hit those 4 areas of what you consider the need, then I can't get my money.
What about the teachers who contribute to something and then when they go to take it out, it's their money, but it's considered a loan? Now it's a loan.
And you owe yours back.
Yeah.
Again. But then again, you have your adopted uncle who's waiting for you both times. You know what's scary when you have the clients that say it's all mine?
Mm-hmm.
That in itself makes me almost grab a Kleenex box. Because when I have to tell you that, no, it's not. And then on top of that, I have to give you a figure of what's not yours. Now you got to say, money. I got to, gross money.
Gross.
Now I got to go back to work for 5 more years because nobody told me that this now man. So now if I'm gonna lose this, then this not gonna help me do this. So now retirement is not this age.
You better have a viable exit strategy. There's what did they say they want us to work to what age now, Tino?
Oh yeah, they
67,
pushing that
isn't it?
number up. They pushing that number up. I don't even look at it anymore.
They've been lining us up for a while, y'all. They came out, what they say, 40 is the new 30, 50 is the new 40. So
Yeah.
they say, hey, they've been lining us up all the way just to say, yeah.
And
So
retirement is the new 70. Get ready.
Exactly.
Yeah, they pretty much 90 gonna be the new 10.
Woo.
You hear me?
Yeah.
And so when I meet with my clients, I just had someone tell me this yesterday. He's like, well, we've met 3 times and you still haven't did anything yet. I said, the 3 meetings that we met, I'm just getting to the point where you understand what we're doing.
They're not used to the educational portion of things. And that's
It's
something to be appreciated. I feel like if you have a person in this position and they automatically have a recommendation for you, they're not serving you, they're serving themselves, because I don't know enough, right? I don't understand your goal. I don't understand or recognize where you're at with things. And there's a lot of components before, like you can't go to any doctor and tell him what pill you want to have,
Yes.
right? First of all, you might be at the wrong doctor. You're at the podiatrist looking for something for your liver.
Yes.
It won't work. So
Specialties.
yeah, it makes a difference.
And when my client said that yesterday, I said, so let me ask you, do you feel comfortable now? Because now when I ask you questions, I'm comfortable that you can get an answer. 2 weeks ago on the first meeting, you were very quiet. It was like the scenario of disaster. You guys, he was texting me because he was trying to talk and share things we talked about, and people was killing this dream like, that ain't true. I ain't never heard of that. So clients go through it when they start believing, they start talking about it.
Yeah.
So about a meeting number 2, he had more questions for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm going to be the student. Bring it on. It's like, come on, man, because the more I answer you and I avoid you like other professionals in the industry.
Right.
Ready for all the questions. And I'm even so confident now. Well, I'll say, put your advisor on the phone because we're expanding. I'm looking for more. Put Tino on that line with me.
That's how I roll.
Because me and Tino gonna have an educated conversation and you're gonna learn a lot. And because we both love you, we're not gonna argue. We're gonna discuss some things in front of you. But Tino, what they don't understand is I'm loaded up, bro. May the best advisor, may the best educator, may the best broker win. Because the client is right here listening. And I don't run from my client and put it on the table. I've done that so many times. Mm-hmm. You know who ended up with client? Because the other person wants to be argumentative.
They do.
And I'm like, hey, I'm not trying to argue with you, Mr. Gordon. Please hear me. This is how I do that over. I don't do everything either, sir. We would be able to collaborate with our revenue sharing program. I'd be able to send you referrals.
Absolutely.
I don't do PNC.
Mm-hmm.
I have some sisters in my organization that do. But it's always good to have other people because people who they like.
Yeah.
I need you to be a part of me, whether we're going to be together, but we're not going to be enemies. Right. We're both in the industry serving the world. We can be referral partners, if nothing. So I need to know more about what you do, Mr. Gordon. And the discussion we're having is so that we can both service our client. They may need a little bit from you and a little bit from me.
I tell my clients, I tell them this: I want you to have the full picture, and I'm just one piece of the puzzle.
That's it.
That's it. I'm just one piece. But the thing about it is, we got to get connected together so you can get that full picture. So, for you to have a happy life, I know my place, I know my piece, I know my position, and I stay in my lane. All this other stuff, I'm like, hey, we got to get connected to these other people for you to get your full picture.
Word of mouth is the best business ever. For me, doing real estate, mortgages, my family had hands in Jackson Hewitt's for years. I was a manager. That's kind of where I learned the tax game, learned the exemptions, learned how things work. But the biggest part of all of that, you guys, When I see this fancy, it almost, girl, I can almost like cry on your shoulder. Never knew. I always felt like I was a failure in all those areas because I never got my real estate house like I wanted. I
Mhm.
never became this big mortgage broker I always dreamed about being because mortgages was the best part of me. Helping a lot of my family get houses and come up out of those landlord properties.
Mhm.
But then I always thought, why didn't I succeed?
Mhm.
To myself, like, man, girl, what happened? Like, you dropped the ball. In
Mhm.
between having my daughters. But in this space that I'm in now, I'm like, God was setting me up for the come up.
Talk to it.
See? He was making sure I knew it all. So when I
That's
came
it.
to this world,
That's it.
I can give a little bit to everything. And I can tell my clients, like, I may not be a realtor, but girl, I understand that whole process. Let me look at your mortgage statement because I understand mortgages,
Nice.
interest rates, and
Nice.
plans and how the balloon work and how you can get ahead. And
That's it.
I didn't know working in that Jackson Hewitt ducking sometime from bullets being shot in the hood was going to teach me the things I did too relevant to tax.
Mhm.
But now that I'm over here, I've learned the other part, retirement option, benefit plans. I'm like, man, God, you was lining this young
Come
black
on.
girl up.
That's right.
Now I'm educated in all the arenas of money.
That's right.
I know because I'm the expert. I didn't succeed as I thought, fancy, but I
Mhm.
did.
It's always greater later. Always greater later.
And so now I'm telling my clients, like, we ready, y'all.
We
This
ready.
girl can teach you a lot. I can read a lot. I can show you a lot. I know a lot.
Mhm.
But I never knew that it was all going to be in one little body,
Mhm.
one little mind for me to take all my clients to the next level off of what I know,
So
what I
profound.
did, you
Yeah.
know? So now I'm so happy in the company I'm with.
Mhm.
Man, it's like a brotherhood. I've always been close to the owners, the CEOs, the big people, the one at the table.
Right.
Well, this new company, it's like this dude is my brother.
Mhm.
It's like God ain't stopping that. Now you got me in the arena with people that I love and I call brother. I don't
Mhm.
even call his name more than I call him, but he is the CEO.
Mhm.
He is us.
Mhm.
And it's just like, it's about to be a shift. I now know my purpose, you guys. I'm 44 this Saturday. I am definitely in the space now, Fancy, where this is where I'm supposed to be, girl. I have planted my feet with my company. I have found who I am. I now know, Tino, what it all was for. And I know who I'm rocking with. Everybody. Everybody that want more.
Mhm.
There is no community thing no more. We out here. That's what I tell my clients. We out here, y'all. I'm with you.
Out here.
We out here. And we
Mhm.
ain't getting our head no more, Fancy. Now I got Fancy to load with us.
That's right.
It's amazing. I gotta have a one-on-one with you. You gotta let me know more about you and Infinite Heritage.
Absolutely.
I have a family. The Beckles are in Michigan with you.
Okay. Hey, Beckles.
I had mentors.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you guys, we said 15, 30 minutes, but we gotta do this again. This was the most rewarding podcast
Fulfillment.
I've
Yes.
ever been a part of.
Aw.
And thank you guys for making me feel so welcome to just be me.
Yeah. I'm glad he was on. It was a great conversation. I hope the viewers, everybody watching it, got something from it. That's the whole thing. It's just, again, with the three parts of the legacy, your foundation, your finances, and your future, put it all together so you can have a great impact because your life has purpose. Your life has purpose, and we just want to help. That's all what this is about, just helping the people.
Let me
Anything
add
you
two
guys want to
F's.
say?
I want to add two F's to that because you hit three of mine.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna put faith on the top of that. Without faith, all things are impossible.
Mm. Mm.
And we're gonna also put fitness with that.
Mhm.
I'm learning that health is wealth.
Yes.
And I tell my clients wealth can be health.
That's right.
Because if you have a lot of it without good health, you're gonna spend a lot of it trying to stay alive.
Mhm.
If you live right now and get your health together, you'll save a lot of your wealth, Fancy, because you won't be using it from medicine and doctors and illnesses and long-term care and nursing homes. We gotta take care of
That's
ourselves.
a whole nother conversation right there.
Yeah, it's major.
Health is wealth, and wealth can be your health.
Run them down. We got our 5 F's now. We're starting with faith.
Come on, fam. Bro said foundation, finance, future, and then fitness.
There you have
Hey, look, that's it right there.
it.
Nancy, anything you want to say? Close us out.
I'm so full. No, I'm just excited.
Okay.
I feel empowered. I hope our viewers feel the same way. I'm looking forward to us doing this again sooner rather than later. Absolutely.
Hey, let's go. So I hope y'all all have a great day. Please like,
Yes.
share, subscribe, send it to somebody that you love, send it to somebody that you hate. You know, we just want to make the world a better place.
Yes.
With that, we are out. Bye-bye, bye-bye,
Have a
bye-bye.
great day.